The Huawei Watch Fit 3 is effectively a cheap way of fooling your mate into thinking that you've got yourself a spangly new Apple Watch, if that's the kind of thing that really bastes your beef. This exceedingly square smartwatch will drain your savings by just 139 quid, or £159 if you want to upgrade to the white leather version. You can pre-order it now, and the watch goes on sale from May the 22nd. And truth be told, I actually prefer this thing to the Apple Watch, even though it's a fraction of the price. But anyway, I've had the Huawei Watch Fit 3 strapped to my arm for a couple of weeks now. So here's my full in-depth review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, step one when you snaffle yourself a new Watch Fit 3 is to download the Huawei Health app. This is freely available on Apple's App Store, and it's also apparently coming to Samsung's App Store soon. Whereas any other Android users will have to download the Huawei Health APK direct from Huawei, which admittedly is a minor ball ache, just a slight twinge in the old scrotum there. But anyway, once you've got that downloaded, you'll be paired up and good to go in just a minute or two. And once you're paired, jump on into the Devices tab. You'll be able to tap your way into the Watch Fit 3 and tweak a whole bunch of the settings and fiddle with the features. Now, customization is comprehensive as always. You can set up all of your various health stats and goals. You can also see exactly which phone notifications you also want to give you a buzz on the wrist, just so you're ultra aware that you've got stuff waiting for your attention. You can set alarms. You can edit your quick replies as well. Just allows you to respond to certain notifications with a quick tap. And you can also download more apps and watch faces for your Huawei Watch Fit 3, but more on all that shenanigans later. Now, it's been a couple of years since Huawei's last Watch Fit, and compared with previous generations, that design has been overhauled for the Watch Fit 3. That display has been squared off with a similar finish to the Apple Watch, so this third model actually looks much more like a smartwatch rather than a fitness band. That screen isn't quite edge to edge, sadly, as you can see more clearly with a lighter background, but those bezels aren't too horrific. While the watch itself is beautifully slender, it's just under a centimetre thick. So it even suits pathetically weedy wrists like mine. For once, I don't look like a small child who's trying on his dad's watch. And thanks to that aluminium frame, the Huawei Watch Fit 3 weighs just 26 grams, so you barely even feel it when it's slapped on your arm. On the flip side, a couple of times I actually forgot to put it back on my wrist after showering and actually left the house without realising it wasn't actually dangling from my arm. And Huawei is offering a small choice of straps. This here is the fluoroelastomer. It's available in a handful of colours. This dark effort is well sleek and smart, but a little bit boring. Otherwise, you can also grab the Huawei Watch Fit 3 with a nylon or leather strap, and you can swap them out at any time using Huawei's proprietary strap affixing system, I guess. And so far, the Huawei Watch Fit 3 seems reassuringly rugged. I've slammed it off a few surfaces. It's dropped onto hard flooring on a couple of occasions as well. So yeah, all good on that front. No scratches on that screen despite a lack of a stick-up protective bezel. And it's fully water resistant, can withstand pressures of up to 5 atmospheres, so ideal for a good bit of swimming. So one of the big upgrades for this third generation of Huawei Watch Fit is that enlarged 1.82-inch AMOLED display. When you peer real close at the Huawei Watch Fit 3 and squint a bit, it kind of looks like the screen is floating on top of that metal frame. But actually, it's just a double rim with a thin strip of darker metal sat on top of that silver one. The screen itself is responsive enough, certainly no lag or anything like that. Don't always have the same level of responsiveness from the crown, sadly. Sometimes there can be a bit of a delayed reaction, or it can just do nothing at all. Swipe in, are you going to zoom in anymore? There we go. And that responsiveness certainly helped by the 60Hz refresh rate, so swiping your way through all the various apps and menus feels really slick and fluid. And that display boasts a 347 pixel per inch resolution, so even tiny text is perfectly legible, as long as you haven't knackered your eyesight from decades of internet abuse. And pretty vibrant colour reproduction here as well, which really helps to bring those Huawei Watch Fit 3 menus and apps to life. They're generally quite colourful and poppy anyway. But the real advantage that the Huawei Watch Fit 3 has over rivals like the Apple Watch is the brightness level, because this thing hits around 1000 nits when you max it out. You dive on into the display settings, you can manually tweak the brightness. As you can see there, it's nowhere near max at the moment, but when you do max it out, absolutely ruddy, eye-searing, and certainly easy to read, even if you're fortunate enough to live in a nice sunny country. There's admittedly not much of an advantage for me as I reside in the UK, where it's perpetually darker than Mordor. I never have to manually tweak that brightness, as I find the auto brightness works absolutely fine. And then, as well as the old rotating crown, which can also be pushed in to load up the apps menu, the Huawei Watch Fit 3 also supports a secondary button, which by default starts a workout. Now, according to Huawei, the watch UX has been redesigned for the Watch Fit 3 to make it colourful, simple, and cool. As a 40-something tech nerd who's known to wear his pants for multiple days because he can't be bothered to change them, I can't really speak for cool, but it's certainly the first two. In all honesty, it's pretty slick, but nothing revolutionary. As usual, from the main watch face, you can drag down to access your main settings and toggles. If you swipe up, that's how you access your notifications. Swipe to the right, you got some basic widgets, including fast access to the Celia assistant. You can check out the weather, see just how bad your flappy bits are going to get frozen off today. That's actually starting to warm up. And then you've also got some media controls. So if you're playing some tunes on your smartphone, you can quickly skip a track, you can pause and play that music with only minimal delay. And you can set up other widget pages as well, or cards as they're known, to display how you're doing on the fitness shenanigans for the day. I really like this one, bit of a health bonanza with fast access to the stress relief, the heart rate measurements, etc. You can check out the next calendar event you got coming up. And as I say, this section fully customizable. You can get rid of any that you don't want, and you can also add in extra ones. A pretty wide selection of stuff, including all, again, of your health stats and various other apps. And Huawei's chucked in quite a decent variety of watch faces as well to cater for all tastes. So you got digital shenanigans, analog stuff, animated affairs, and quite a lot of these can be interacted with using that rotating dial, which is a neat little touch. And now the Huawei Watch Fit boasts a proper square display. You can fit tons of information on some of these watch faces. You can see what's going on with just a quick glance. And if you happen to get bored with the small selection of watch faces slapped onto the Huawei Watch Fit 3, well, no worries, you can download plenty more via the Huawei Health app. All kinds of jazzy numbers, some smarter ones if you're having a night out on the town or whatever. Now, as usual with Huawei smartwatches, the notification support is pretty basic. You can fully customize exactly what notifications you want to receive on the watch, but generally once a message ticks in, all you can do is sort of read the body of it. If it involves a GIF or an emoji or something, generally that won't actually pop up. And then if you actually want to respond, you usually have to pull your phone out your pocket, otherwise all you can do here is basically get rid of the notification. You do have that quick reply feature which works with some third-party apps, but honestly it's pretty basic stuff and I don't think I used it once. And the Huawei Watch Fit 3 also sports a built-in mic and speaker, which is handy. You can take calls on your watch if you're struggling to get your phone out your pocket because you're walking down the street trying to keep a kid under control with armfuls of shopping or whatever as well. Welcome to my friggin' existence. The speaker ain't the loudest, so you might struggle to hear what is actually going on if you're in a reasonably noisy environment, but it does the job. And you've also got that Celia support as well, but you have to be connected to your smartphone and it has to be a Huawei MIUI smartphone for that to actually work. And to be honest, if you don't have an MIUI smartphone, you're not really missing out on much. As using the Celia assistant, frankly, kind of feels like having an argument with a particularly dozy badger. Got pretty much all the apps on here that you would expect to see in a modern smartwatch, however. Plenty of stuff on here for outdoor enthusiasts, including weather reports, sunrises and sunsets. Bit of compass action, naturally. Haven't used one of those since I was a wee school lad, doing a bit of orienteering in the woods, although we spent most of our time searching for placky bags full of dodgy mags hidden in bushes. Got a flashlight, of course, so you can easily adjust the brightness with that crown, which is a nifty feature. You can also change up the colours, make it a disco watch. Naturally, you got timers and alarms and all that kind of good stuff, and all of your health shenanigans that you would expect stashed on here too. Practically no third-party support, however, and if you dive on into the app gallery, you can download a small selection of alternative apps, but we are talking literally a handful. This includes a cheap rip-off of Flappy Bird. Cheap, get it? I still suck at it, unsurprisingly. The Huawei Watch Fit 3 generally did everything that I wanted it to, apart from the decent notification support and also a complete lack of contactless payments. So you can't just bash your watch against one of those NFC jobbies and pay for your sausage roll or whatever. It's one of the few areas where the likes of an Apple Watch or a Wear OS watch actually has an advantage over this thing. Now for your health tracking type shenanigans, you've got all the usual stuff stashed onto the Watch Fit 3, including active minutes, how many calories you've burned, step tracking as well, although this does get a bit confused if you do exercise. For instance, I did a HIIT workout earlier and it counted about 2,000 steps on that, even though I was tracking the HIIT workout. And yeah, that's right, I do actually do exercise to test these things out. You're welcome. I'm actually quite getting into it as well. I'll tell you what, after a 20-minute HIIT session, those first few ice cold lagers taste even better. And as usual, we've got support for dozens and dozens of different types of exercise. So pretty much whatever you're into, you should find it in here, be it martial arts type stuff, gym workouts, bit of frisbee, darts, archery, I mean, literally anything you could think of, laser friggin' tag. Dragon boating, which sounds cool as shit. And the Huawei Watch Fit 3 also includes a bunch of fitness courses, running courses, training plans to help you keep fit. And these courses are automatically generated in the Huawei Health app, and they're pretty good if you find you struggle to really get the motivation to go out and do a bit of exercise each day to keep you on track. I didn't use them as I prefer my exercise to be a bit more spontaneous, or should that be sporadic. And if you're a runner, which I most certainly am not, you've got quite a few decent little features packed in here, including metronomes. You can split up your run, bit of interval training, smart companion. What is that actually? Can give you a target pace, etc. You can set up some routes. You've also got a bit of GPS tracking, so you can actually map out your route. And for running and a couple of other different types of exercise, you've also got some animated warm-ups.
Shoulder circles. 3, 2, 1, go.
I love the enthusiasm of this guy.
Open your chest.
Oh, Christ. I don't know, I think I've broken myself just on the warm-up. And what I do like when you're working out as well, you get all that information right on the watch face, nice and easy, including which heart rate zone you're in. And as you work your way up the heart rate zones, the background of the watch actually changes to match the color. So you go into yellow and then orange and then red when you're really hitting those high heart rate zones. You can see how good your cardio is all going on with just a quick glance. And if you happen to own your own personal gym equipment, well, the Huawei Watch Fit 3 also supports heart rate sharing with certain pieces of third-party equipment stuff, so you can do that. That was a really eloquent sentence. Top marks me. The Huawei Watch Fit 3 also supports a calorie balancing tool. So basically, obviously, over the course of the day, it records how many calories you burn through various activities. But then you have to manually input how many calories you actually consume, which frankly to me sounds too much like actual effort. That's where I'm like, I'm out. I can't be bothered to type in every Snickers bar or pack of scampi fries that I hoy down my throat. I know I'm a crap tech reviewer, and feel free to express your opinions using your favourite expletives down in the comments below. And then you got the usual sleep tracking shenanigans, which is about as accurate as any other smartwatch or fitness device that I've tested out. Does a reasonably decent job of working out when you go to sleep, when you wake up, and how much deep sleep you've enjoyed, but unfortunately on some days it just goes a bit nuts. So for instance, this is when I was over in China, hence the slightly crazy sleeping times. Reckons I got close to 6 hours of sleep, but actually about 2 of that was actual sleep, and the rest of it was just me lying in bed staring at the ceiling, cursing the incredibly loud birds that were squawking outside of my window. I do enjoy some of the random advice though, like why not try soaking your feet before bed? Or try a hot foot bath. I think the guy who wrote these is just a foot fetishist. On one occasion it even suggested that I eat lots of beef and chicken to boost my mood, so I'll give it bonus points for that. And apparently the Huawei Watch Fit 3 can also detect naps of around sort of 30 minutes or more. I don't have the luxury of napping, sadly these days. It sounds delightful though. Now another one of the highlights here on the Huawei Watch Fit 3 is the battery life. You've got a 400 mAh capacity cell somehow crammed into that incredibly skinny chassis, and Huawei reckons that with typical use you'll get around 10 full days of having this thing strapped to your arm before you'll need to take it off and bung it back on the charging dock. Now personally I discovered that I actually got more like 6 days of use, but that was with the always on display active. I also did quite a lot of health tracking on this thing, had the notification support all set up, all that good stuff. And yeah, reliably got almost a week out of this thing, which is considerably better than the not quite a day of battery life you get out of the likes of an Apple Watch. My only bugbear is that the charging dock is one of those really fiddly magnetic efforts that just kind of snaps on there. It's very easy to accidentally nudge and sort of break the connection, so that's a bit of a shame, but apart from that, all good. And that right there, in a delicious wee nutshell, my lovelies, is the fresh new Huawei Watch Fit 3. And yeah, there are some drawbacks compared with an Apple Watch, even the cheapest Apple Watch. No contactless payment support on there, for instance. The assistant support, obviously, very niche. The fact that the notification support also kind of lackluster. But on the flip side, the battery life is absolutely dazzling compared with most of its rivals. It's super skinny and light, a pleasure to wear. That screen nice and poppy and punchy and incredibly bright as well, so handy if you are in a sunny environment. It's pretty solid fitness tracking features and everything, so yeah, overall for this price tag it is a bit of a bargain. That's my thoughts anyway. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on the Huawei Watch Fit 3 down in the comments below. Please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone.